Okay. So anyway, guys, you saw the title of the video. The title of this video today is called Slavery is not immoral in of itself. Slavery is not immoral in of itself. Let me say this again. You owning another human being, which is what Matt Dillahunty was crying about. You own another human being. You know what I mean? Since he was on that show, where he cares so much about this topic of slavery. Okay?
They keep saying how we're animals all the time, right? Now, remember, they're against slavery now, right? They keep saying that we're animals, right?
Yep,
well,
exactly.
We're animals. I mean, I own a cat. I've owned cats. The cat's my property. Okay? You own turtles. Those turtles are your property. You have dominion over those turtles. I have dominion over my cats, right? Why can't I own a human being if we're animals? Animals can own animals according to them. So why is slavery bad? It doesn't matter how you look at it. In of itself, there's nothing wrong with a human being owning another human being. The problem that most of us got, if we're being honest and we're talking about this, is how people are being treated when they're being owned.
And why I would say owning another person is wrong,
right?
But owning a dog is not the same.
Oh yes, it is.
Because my dog right here is incapable. I mean, this dog is my property. She belongs to me. Mm-hmm. But she is incapable of being my slave because she's a dog. But when I own a human, the reason I would say it's wrong is not because they are my property. It's wrong because they're my slave. You know,
secure.
That's why it's wrong. They're my slave.
Jill, you know,
Legal.
I would say, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you a better answer. But in my opinion, I would say owning another person is wrong because they're your slave. I'm sorry, I can't elaborate more, but that's just my feeling. That's my feeling. But when we get to the good slavery, bad slavery, I do have a question.
Yeah, Lubis. You're entitled to your opinion, Lubis. I ain't got an issue with that because I said this is going to be more of a conversation. But the bottom line is, if you're going to have an intelligent conversation with somebody, you got to get them a reason on why owning a human being. I mean, unless you're just going to say it's your opinion. If you're just going to say it's your opinion, there ain't nothing to talk about then. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. But if you want it to be factually true, like Matt Dillahunty likes to try to put it on everybody, you have to be able to give a sound, rational, logical reason on why it's wrong. And if you can't do that, then, you know, I mean, a lot of people aren't going to take you seriously on that because there's a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people who are not even Christians that agree with me on this.
Well, my reason for why it's wrong is because it makes the person a slave, not an employee, not an apprentice.
What's wrong with
it makes them a slave. That would be my reason.
What's wrong with being a slave?
What's wrong with being a slave? You're a slave. That's what's wrong with it.
What's wrong with being a slave?
That you're a slave.
Define what you mean by that. Define what you mean by that. What's wrong with being a slave? Define it.
Okay, tell me how Matt Dillahunty was right. Tell me how I was wrong.
When Matt was talking about how beating the crap out of your slaves, and you're saying like it's okay, and he's saying like no, it's wrong, you know, because it is wrong. Yeah, I mean, having slaves in general, like you say, slaves in and of itself is okay. No, it's not. Having slaves is wrong. Period. I mean, come on, Gman. That entire video. Okay, keep going.
Lubis, explain to me what's right about this, Lubis, and who's encouraging this, Lubis? Because it ain't Christians. Who's encouraging this, Lubis?
Look at the bottom of that screenshot. Look at you see me. You see me, and I say, "Oh
Lubis.
no, oh
Lubis.
no!" To that G slave
Lubis.
syllabus, I put,
Lubis.
"Oh
Lubis.
no."
Lubis,
Does
that's
that
great,
sound?
Lubis. That's great, Lubis.
I'm
who's
condoning
encouraging
that?
this, Lubis?
What was that?
Who's encouraging this? This is how I know you don't listen. Who's encouraging this?
I don't know. That's one person.
This is showing up in every video that I talk about the slave issue, not the slave issue, the race issue.
One person is doing that.
Oh no! There's quite
Screenshot.
a few people doing it. They're even doing it right now. They're not saying the N-word, but they're being racist in live.
It's one name, G-man. It's a G.
How am I going to have an adult conversation with you and you won't be quiet, sir? Do you know how to have an adult conversation? Or should I sick pillbox on you?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay? Because I'll unleash him and let him deal with you if you want.
I said I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay? So let's talk about this now. Why do you defend Scientist Sam?
Talking about whether or not a human being owns another human being in of itself.
Okay, so it strikes me as really odd that you feel you must support biblical slavery as not being immoral. Is this really the hill you want to die on?
No. That's not what this is about. My argument is that it is not wrong for a human being to own another human being in of itself. The argument that the atheist community is making, that if a human being owns another human being, that it is wrong across the board. And there's so many ways to debunk that. It's not even funny. For starters, they can't even give me a moral basis, but it's not even fun doing that. It's not even fun doing that. I find it to be more fun to hit them up with their own argument. If you're going to say that it is wrong for a human being to own another human being in of itself, then you got to tell me why. Why is it wrong for the act? What is wrong about the very act of owning another human being? What's so bad about it? Okay, so what is your answer for why a human being should never own another human being?
Because it violates their basic human rights.
It
tries to turn human beings into animals.
So it violates their human rights, right? I want to make sure I write that down.
Yeah, sure.
It violates their human rights, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe that morality is objective, or do you believe that morality is subjective?
To be honest with you, I often find myself hoping that it is objective, that you and I could find some way to prove what is moral and what is not, but I suspect it's largely subjective.
Okay, so morality
is not a straight answer. I apologize.
So it would be based on the other person's. It would be based on the other person's point of view or what their opinion is, right?
Based on their point of view.
Right. If you believe that morality is subjective, your point of view is that owning another human being in of itself is wrong. In Israel, okay, more than 2,000 years ago, they didn't believe that. And that's according to their subjective morality. If you believe in subjective morality, who's right and who's wrong? And you believe that it is immoral for a human to own another human.
Yes.
Okay? There is absolutely nothing immoral about
in this, that we have all fallen short of the glory of God. So you explain to me how such deeply flawed people should be allowed to own other people. If they
I don't have a problem with another human being owning another human being. I have a problem with how people are treated while they are owned by these people. Because I can show you slavery happening in the Bible that even you would enjoy. Let me ask you this, bro. How you doing, Lubis?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, Gman, I had a question. When you say it's not wrong for a human to own another human in of itself, what do you mean by in of itself? I don't understand that part.
Left alone, as is. You own me right now, Lubis. End of story, the end. You own me as property. The end. There's nothing immoral about that. The atheist community has been arguing with me for years. Matt Dillahunty argues this on the Atheist Experience. The atheists, Jungle Jargon and me have known each other for a while on here now. I think Jesus is Lord and me just started talking like a couple of years ago or whatever. But the atheist for the longest time says that the very act of a human owning another human being as property is immoral. If it is immoral, then the burden of proof is on the atheist to be able to show us why that is immoral in of itself. If you cannot do it, then it logically follows that they have to stop saying that. Hence.
Well, I'm wondering if, because the part about owning another person isn't wrong in of itself. I've never heard anybody say that part.
Been doing that for years.
And so I'm thinking like,
you never heard
like I'm wondering if it's because you're trying to like justify it. I mean, because for me, if someone's a slave, that's always bad.
Lubis, it is a direct. You see, here's the thing, Lubis. You want your cake and you want to eat it. You want to be able to say the human being should never own another human being in of itself. But then you also want to sit there and say, in a perfect world, we should never own animals.
Answer your question.
In your own house, you have a dog in your house right now.
Yes.
Get out of here, man. You're full of it. You're totally full of it. So
I
anyway, guys,
don't know what you're trying to. I don't know. I mean, are you against it? Are you for it? I don't even know what point you're trying to make.
Okay, a little bit. So are you aware that I made an argument on the atheist experience that said that there's nothing wrong with a human being owning another human being in of itself?
Yeah,
are you aware
of the argument?
Okay, it's a stupid argument. Do you understand that that's a response to the argument that atheists say that it is wrong for a human being to own another human being, period?
It is. It's always wrong for a human to own another human.
Now I got two witnesses here.
Not if you're going to claim that they're animals, dude.